Sexual thoughts are something everyone experiences, but for some people, they can be deeply disturbing. Why does this happen? What causes sexual thoughts to feel overwhelming or unsettling? In this video, we'll explore the psychology behind it, along with the factors that contribute to why some people find sexual thoughts so disturbing. So let's get into it.
Hello and welcome to Unsettling, a channel for intelligent and curious people like you. Before we proceed, let me tell you one thing. If you have not subscribed yet, please subscribe. It means a lot to me. And if you have already subscribed, tons of thanks for your support.
What are sexual thoughts? Sexual thoughts are a natural part of human experience. These are thoughts about sexual desire, attraction, fantasies, or intimate situations. For most people, sexual thoughts are an occasional part of daily life, but for others, they can trigger discomfort, shame, or anxiety. It's important to remember that sexual thoughts themselves are not inherently bad. They're a normal part of human sexuality, but how we respond to these thoughts can vary greatly. Let us dig deeper into this subject first. To understand it, we need to acknowledge the role of personal values. Well, what is that? One key reason sexual thoughts can be disturbing is personal values. What are sexual thoughts? Sexual thoughts are a natural part of human experience. These are thoughts about sexual desire, attraction, fantasies, or intimate situations. For most people, sexual thoughts are an occasional part of daily life. But for others, they can trigger discomfort, shame, or anxiety. It's important to remember that sexual thoughts themselves are not inherently bad. They're a normal part of human sexuality, but how we respond to these thoughts can vary greatly. Let us dig deeper into this subject first. To understand it, we need to acknowledge the role of personal values. Well, what is that? One key reason sexual thoughts can be disturbing is personal values. People raised in strict or conservative environments may have been taught that sex is taboo or sinful. As a result, this can lead to a deep sense of shame when sexual thoughts arise. According to research by Dr. David S. R. Levesque, 2017, shame can be a powerful emotion linked to sexual thoughts, especially when they conflict with personal or cultural beliefs. Consequently, for these individuals, sexual thoughts may not feel natural or acceptable. Instead, they might be seen as wrong or immoral. In reality, it is not, but we perceive in that manner. This feeling of conflict between natural desires and learned values can cause emotional distress for some people. Another great factor is anxiety and intrusive thoughts. Why sexual thoughts can be disturbing is linked to anxiety or intrusive thoughts also. For some individuals, intrusive thoughts are a symptom of anxiety disorders, such as obsessive-compulsive disorder, OCD. People with OCD often experience unwanted, distressing thoughts that seem out of their control. These can include sexual thoughts, which may cause intense distress because they feel inappropriate or disturbing. Dr. Jonathan S. Abramovitz, 2009, explains that people with OCD have a hard time ignoring these intrusive thoughts. The more they try to suppress them, the more they often feel overwhelmed by them. This can create a cycle of anxiety and frustration. However, another reason that can cause distress is trauma and past experiences. Let us see how that happens. Trauma, especially sexual trauma, can also make sexual thoughts feel disturbing. According to available data, it is a proven fact. Research has shown that people who have experienced sexual abuse or assault may have negative emotional reactions to sexual thoughts due to the psychological impact of trauma. In these cases, the brain may associate sexual thoughts with the trauma, leading to distress or fear. Dr. Bessel van der Kolk, a leading expert in trauma, has written extensively about how past trauma affects the brain's response to sexual thoughts. He notes that survivors of trauma often have a heightened sense of discomfort around anything that might remind them of the abuse. There are religious and cultural influences that also can affect our sexuality in a great deal. If we dig deep into this topic, we will find that this factor influences our sexuality because of its ubiquitous presence in our psyche for a long time. That is why religious and cultural beliefs play a huge role in shaping how people view sex and sexual thoughts. In many religious traditions, sexuality is viewed as sacred and is often tied to specific moral guidelines. In these contexts, any deviation from the ideal sexual behavior might be seen as sinful or shameful. This can make people feel guilty or disturbed by natural sexual thoughts. Dr. Mark D. Griffiths, 2010, discusses how religious guilt can be a powerful force in the context of sexual thoughts, and it can lead to emotional distress. What is the role of gender in society? Society also plays a major role in how we interpret and respond to sexual thoughts. In many cultures, there are strong expectations about how men and women should behave sexually. Women, for example, may feel more pressure to repress their sexual desires because of social norms around modesty and purity. This societal pressure can make sexual thoughts feel uncomfortable, even if there is no personal reason for distress. Dr. Jean Baker Miller's work, 1976, highlights how societal expectations can lead to self-repression and anxiety about natural urges. Besides all these factors, we need to understand the biological and psychological perspective also. What is that? Biologically, sexual thoughts are driven by the brain's dopamine system and hormonal influences. But for some, the brain processes these thoughts as a threat. This might be due to heightened emotional sensitivity or a lack of coping skills. The amygdala, a part of the brain responsible for processing emotions, plays a role in how sexual thoughts are experienced. For some, sexual thoughts can trigger an overreaction in this area of the brain, leading to feelings of distress or fear. This can be especially true for individuals with heightened anxiety or emotional regulation difficulties. So the ultimate question is how to cope with disturbing sexual thoughts? Yes, that is the million-dollar question, because till now we have seen the problem. Now we need to find the solution. The thing is, if you find that sexual thoughts are disturbing, there are steps you can take to ease the discomfort. The first one is mindfulness. Practices like meditation can help you detach from the emotional reaction to the thought and view it more objectively. Next is the most popular one, therapy. Cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, has been shown to be effective for people who struggle with intrusive sexual thoughts. A therapist can help you understand and reframe these thoughts. Thirdly, self-compassion. Being kind to yourself and recognizing that sexual thoughts are a normal part of life can reduce shame and distress. However, finally, if your feelings around sexual thoughts are interfering with daily life, seeking professional support is crucial. Speaking to a counselor or therapist can provide valuable tools for managing these thoughts. Now it's time for final thoughts. In conclusion, sexual thoughts can be disturbing for some due to a variety of reasons, including personal values, anxiety, trauma, religious beliefs, and societal pressures. It's important to remember that sexual thoughts are normal, but how we react to them can vary. Therefore, try to understand your response and take steps accordingly. Just think of it as any other normal problem that we encounter in our daily life, so try to solve it without hurting anybody, that includes yourself. If you cannot solve it alone, take help of a professional therapist. By understanding the underlying factors that make these thoughts disturbing, we can better approach them with empathy and care. Again, I repeat, if sexual thoughts cause distress, you are not alone. On the contrary, there are several people who are going through the same situation. Seeking help is a positive and healthy step toward feeling more comfortable with your natural thoughts. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more content on mental health and well-being. See you in the next video. Till then, goodbye. Take care and stay safe.